that wide shot with the marquee out front.
How's my tie?
I'm the guy who gets to cut everyone off 5 words into your acceptance speech. I'd like to thank my mother, my manager, my wife, and cue music.
I am presenting Musician of the Year, the prestigious Musician of the Year award.
I've won Best Live Sound Engineer the last 2 years at the Whammies.
This latest album is probably, 5+ years in the making. So just to get recognized is fantastic, really.
It's important that we keep Washington not just a political town, but a music town.
In the 60s, as D.C. became the center for the political protest movement, a group of people came together. Artists, writers, concert promoters, who would eventually form WAMA. Other cities are known for a sound. Nashville, Seattle, New York, San Francisco. Put all those sounds together, and that's the D.C. sound.
I remember early on, before WAMA started, I went out to one of those Holiday Inn kind of bars. There was a musician there who's one of the greatest musicians that Washington ever had. And he was playing dance music in a Holiday Inn. And it was so depressing for me to see him there. I was thinking, God, there's got to be some ways to let people know about people like this.
Washington has a long tradition as a great music town, going back to Duke Ellington and Al Jolson. But a community is just a random collection of people doing their own thing until someone comes together to recognize it. And that's what WAMA did. It brought together all these different constituencies, the country people, the jazz players, rock, blues, and suddenly they had a banner to rally under, the Washington Area Music Association.
At the time when it started, I wanted to be a part of something that seemed to have the future of being something really important to the whole community of musicians here in Washington. And I could kind of tell it was gonna go somewhere and do something and be an important thing for all the musicians here.
From Lisner Auditorium in Washington, D.C., it's the first annual Washington Area Music Awards.
The Whammies is a great party because all of your favorite bands are there. You just get to hang with everybody.
Hello, Washington. It's great to be back home.
Ladies and gentlemen, Emmylou Harris.
It's great to be here and to be a part of the first Whammy Awards.
So excited. Can't you tell I'm nervous?
It's about time Washington has something like this.
I tell you, I was born and raised in this town. I lived here for 31 years. It's the most recognition I ever got, except when I was in grade school and I got arrested for breaking windows at Lafayette Elementary School. So thanks a lot. Woo.
I've been to a lot of really good WAMA events, and especially the Whammies. The Whammies are always, they're fun. It's a big schmooze fest.
I can't focus on your details.
Washington is filled with incredible talent in all genres, but many of them don't get the recognition that they deserve. So WAMA was formed to try to bring recognition to the area and let the industry know what great talent is here. That's the only answer I have to.
Yeah. But all the pieces aren't even in the pie, baby. You see the picture clear.
The production team behind the Whammies really consists of a handful of people. There's some long hours. It involves all kinds of things. It involves booking the acts, getting the presenters on board. The script for that evening is a tremendous undertaking.
That consists of making an outline of the entire show and doing it minute by minute. It's timed down to a T. My husband, the technical director, does all the bands, and he gets them all coordinated, the backline set, what have you, so it's a team effort.
Wham is important because it signifies community for the musicians in this area. And musicians, as a matter of form, don't like to join things, except for maybe bands. They don't like to join organizations. But Wham is important because it helps promote the musicians in this area. It helps promote Washington music in general, because Washington has an amazing amount of talent, great musicians, great music, and it ought to be famous, known for that, instead of just as a political town.
There are those that love to criticize, and that's their contribution, unfortunately. And Wham is the only organization like this in town that offers recognition for local musicians.
The Whammies have been there for me since I got in DC. The Washington scene has been, to me, very active, and it's put a lot of the big musicians out there, but a lot of people don't know it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, I could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind.
This is a very good thing to do, to honor the local music-making community. You know, they deserve to have a night. This area has always been very important to me, way before we moved here. We moved here in '96, so I've got 15 years now of actual residence in this community, so I feel like I'm a member of it. But even before that, for years and years, this was always an important market for me, professionally, but the friendships that I have formed in this market have just been very rewarding. Thank you, Debbie. That's it for me. Thanks, everybody, very much.
I like producing my own music, making up something totally different, unique, that will blow people's minds. I love music because it's really calming, soothing, and that's why I love music, most of it.
You staring through my window, candlelight turned fire, as you said.
When I moved to DC, I didn't know anyone, and I think in the intervening years, managed to record 2 CDs. And Whamma was integral in promoting my CD to the industry. I play out 3, 4, 5 times a week. If you want to make a living at it, you probably have to at least play a few covers. But there certainly is room for original music in this city.
I don't think you have to move away from DC to make it in the music business. I think you have to tour outside of DC to make it in the music business. DC is great because it is a transient city, but at some point you got to get out of this circle in order to expand your audience.
Venues in the Washington, D.C. area, I've mainly played in restaurants as of recent. The most challenging thing I find is, as a drummer, is keeping the volume down below the conversations happening in the restaurant.
I think the DC music scene it's a cool music scene. There's some cool places to play. Personally, I like playing at the State Theater. I think that's an awesome vibe, the cool old theater feel. 930 Club is amazing for sound. I think we could use some more venues. What we're lacking right now is 350 person capacity type venue. It's kind of like you do Jam and Java, which is a great room. It's a great place. And then you jump up to 930 Club or State Theater. So I think, in terms of venues, I think it's kind of lacking. But there's tons of bands to play with and to do show trades with and things like that. So in that regard, I think it's, very saturated with great musicians to play with.
Downtown North Arlington, a metro at 12 a.m. and the courthouse stop goes by at 12:01.
What DC does not have, we don't have a 6th Street, we don't have a Beale Street, we don't have a Bourbon Street. What we do have is a lot of really great music venues that are spread out in a tri-state area. And people are living here for every other reason other than a music scene. They're here for politics, and they're here for nonprofit organizations, and all that type of stuff doesn't really lend to an active listener side of the music scene. And so trying to come up with new ways of getting yourself exposed to people who normally wouldn't have even known that you existed before is different and new.
I go to school in Northeastern in Boston right now. There's no association like WAMA there that musicians can just kind of be a part of a common cause, supporting local music. But here, there's a support group there. Working with Marco Delmar at Recording Arts, and he kind of told me about WAMA, and I joined. And I didn't really do much with it for a little while, but this past summer, I was just on the website and checking it out and applied for the Personal Artist Support System contest and won the grand prize. So I've been more active since then.
WAMA is kind of an interesting thing in my eyes.
The biggest stars this town has ever, the biggest stars this town has never, the biggest stars this town has ever seen.
When we were first nominated 2 years ago, we all kind of looked at each other and said, are we members of WAMA? Nothing against WAMA, but it just seems like a little bit of a mystery to me as far as what its role is and how it's perceived in the community.
I won a songwriting award from Billboard magazine a few years ago. That, along with some other music awards, led to an interview by Fox Morning News. I would say that WAMA played an integral role in making those things happen.
The first that I heard of WAMA was when I was told about this interview, so I don't know much about it. Besides, I've heard it called Old Boys Club a couple times. But yeah, I mean, I don't have much of an opinion because I don't really know exactly what they do.
I'm a new member to WAMA, and the only thing I really know about it is just the community that it brings for some of the local musicians. And like I said, I have some friends in the area, and the more that I talk to them, the more I'm finding out that everybody who is playing is an active member. So I'm really excited to get involved and meet new people and really get into the scene here.
Push your pedal to the metal, I'm moving on, and
Personally, I hope that my generation will take hold of WAMA and keep it alive into the next generation, because I think we can make it whatever we want it to be.